going to actually ask Erica to go second. So Crystal, you're going to be third. Sorry for the mix up there. Erica, do you mind taking the lead?
No, I'm ready. Let's go.
All right.
Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? Anybody else really super tired because they put in a really long week because you're an entrepreneur and like that's your life and you do it all the time? Right? So I'm so happy to be here. I love speaking with Sabrina. We've done it a couple times already in the past just couple weeks. So it's been amazing. So thank you for having me here today, Sabrina. I appreciate it. I am Erica Hull, and I am the co-founder and CEO of the Corner Office. My amazing business partner is also a phenomenal woman, as well as many of the partners that we brought on. I'm happy to actually be on the screen with one of them. Lynette is here with us this morning. She will be our Orlando. We're hoping to do Orlando in 2022, so we're really excited about that. So, in our business, we bring adaptive resources to multivocational women and primary parents, and that's what we focus on. Whether you need business services, you need personal development services, you're a business and you need some help in your organization, or you just do not know how to get all this accomplished, we're the village for you. And so we are just busting at the seams. It's an exciting time to be a woman in business, I believe. I think that 2022 is prime for a lot of breakthroughs, especially if you watch the trends, right? We're all watching them. If you're a business owner, you're watching trends, correct? Are we all watching trends? Anybody else? Obsessed?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So this morning, my question for you, because I know myself, there's a difference between being an entrepreneur and having an entrepreneurial spirit. And those business structures look really different, right? For me, when I look at this over the past 25 years of doing, actually, I added up. My first business was when I was 10 years old. We were in school, and I had a business partner, Luanda. She was amazing. We actually made bracelets and we sold them. And we sold them for to what end, which was our goal was to raise enough money to help the crossing guards get vests, because the following year we were going to be the crossing guards, and we wanted the vest, we wanted the badge, we wanted to, help out. So 10 years old was my first business. And interesting enough, at 10 years old, I still was bound and determined to do it with another woman. And at being almost 45 in December, I am still doing business with almost solely women. And it's such a cool thing. We've got some great men around us supporting us, but it's been amazing. So my question for you this morning is, do you feel that if you approach business as an entrepreneurial spirit versus an entrepreneurial attitude, would it change the way you've approached your business currently or how you can do business in the future?
I would love to answer that question. That's a great question.
Tell
Eric.
us who you are first, please, Leona.
Yeah. Hey, what's going on, party people? My name is Leona Carter, and I'm an intimacy and relationship coach and a business strategist. And so I love this question because that entrepreneur, it actually connects with the sales question that was asked. But that entrepreneurial, just being an entrepreneur, you think I got to check the box, and do it like, they said, read 3 scripts and it works and it didn't work, or what have you. But the entrepreneurial spirit is something that you embody, and it's an attitude, a servitude that you always have in every situation, right? And so that entrepreneurial spirit, you really understand who you are, and that's how you become so good at sales, because it's not about saying the right script, it's about being authentically you, and people can pick that up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that answer. Thank you so much. Anybody else?
Can I chime in on that?
Yes, please do, Jen.
So Jen Massey, I'm a certified mindset and empowerment coach who helps women break free of limitations so that they can achieve success on their terms. And it's interesting when you asked the question, I was like, well, which one am I? Like, am I an entrepreneur or do I have the entrepreneur spirit? And then I tried to reframe it into like language that I typically use, which is like people who look at opportunities. because I see someone with an entrepreneurial spirit as somebody who almost has shiny object syndrome. So it's like, how do you ground the shiny object syndrome into the opportunities that will work for you? And I think that's where it crosses over with the entrepreneur. And it's interesting because I'm like, well, I think I'm in the middle, because in my opinion, like a straight entrepreneur is almost grounded in like stress reactions of like, I have this business idea and I have to make it work. And it's like very reactive, where when you have the spirit, it's like, you don't have to have multiple business ventures or like, 7 streams of income to make it work. It's just having an idea and being willing to see the different opportunities as they're presented to you, which Leona, I think is what you were speaking of, is like knowing yourself and knowing your dreams and following those opportunities rather than being stuck in like, I'm an entrepreneur and this is my only path. It's kind of like, there's lots of paths. There's lots of paths and following them.
I love that. I was recently having this discussion with one of our new partners in Texas. She owns a childcare business. And for the longest time, she struggled with actually identifying herself as an entrepreneur because she wasn't in the business working it every single day. She was owning it and operating it and kind of coming in there, making sure that it would be successful and there was structure and guidelines. And I looked at her and I said, and how long did it take you before you felt like you were an entrepreneur? She goes, I still struggle with it. And it's interesting because we all view these words so differently. And it's really, what has been our background? What are we bringing to the table when we start doing these things? What mindsets are we so conditioned to think? I still get caught into I haven't done enough between 9 to 5 hours. And I've been working from home for 15 years, and it still gets me because the first real 10 years of my adult career was so ingrained into that mentality that 15 years later, I'm still struggling it, walking down the street going, is it okay that I'm like taking an hour away from the office? Like, shouldn't I be getting something done? So it's interesting because these themes that we'll talk about today really interpret in ourselves differently because of how much we bring to our own table and what our background was. So does anybody else want to talk about the difference between being an entrepreneur and having the entrepreneurial spirit? Come on.
I feel. As I reflected on the question, it really made me think about the fact that I lean towards the entrepreneurial spirit because that allows me, I think, to flow with what you say, the trends and the chance to have different iterations and understand that the business may look different than when it was first incepted. And like, but going back to its purpose is still this, it still serves in this capacity, but the product offering or how you service, right? By the way, I didn't introduce myself. I'm Lynette Phillips and I'm a leadership coach. And I help leaders with mindful leadership, how to integrate it, be a CEO of yourself so that you can lead others. And so for me, I think being able to understand that at some point, one-to-one, I have capacity now, it will shift. It's just part of what that growth is, will allow me to kind of not hang on and try to keep something as the entrepreneur and go, this is it. This is only it, right? I think of McDonald's when I worked there in high school and it was like breakfast ended at 10:30. And if you, by golly, were that car that was trying to get in and we nope, it's 10:31. And now it's like breakfast all day. And it was like, man, we could have saved a lot of grief and headache back in high school, back then. But eventually it begins to be, you have to move and flow with where your business is taking you. Like you're on a journey together. Yes, you're steering the ship, but you're both going on a destination. So definitely I lean towards entrepreneurial spirit.
Thank you so much. Anybody else want to answer this one? I came prepared. I have a lot of questions today, so I'm hoping we get to like go through this a few times.
Erica, I'd like to chime in on this.
Yes, please do. Introduce yourself first.
My name is Crystal Knight. I'm an attorney in Illinois. And when I started my practice, now that I look back on it, I don't even know how I found the courage to do it. It was something that just sort of emerged full bloom, and I set a launch date. I made up some business cards. My attitude was, I'm going to do this, and if it doesn't work, I'll maybe have to get a job at McDonald's. I don't know, but here I am. And on January 1st, 1996, I went into practice for myself. I did do some other types of work that were related, but subcontracting around that field. I practice in real estate law. So I started getting contacts from realtors and potential clients. And before I knew it, I had more to do than I knew what to do with. And
Isn't that the case? Usually what happens to us, isn't it?
for me, it was.
Yeah. I think it's great that you bring in this aspect of business, because many times the world does not view somebody who opens their own practice, such as a doctor or a lawyer, as an entrepreneur, but yet they are. And so I think we had a comment earlier that somebody said, as a consultant without a physical product or building, I struggle with that as well. And so doctors have a physical building and lawyers have a physical build, and they have this thing that everybody knows about, right? And so when we're doing things that are new and people are like, well, what's coaching services or what's adaptive solutions? And you're going to teach me manageability and margin. What are these things? Because they're not this product that's being opened or on the shelf or a service that is really well known in our world. So there's so many things now. And I find that, entrepreneurship in whole really is just deciding that you don't want to rely on a corporate being of a whole bunch of people for your everyday, what am I doing? How am I making money? And how do I get to service people, right? And then you get to establish a culture and hopefully teach it to others, and they work for you, and then they go off and they build their own things, because that's my goal, is like, you're never allowed to just stay here in this job. Like, what do you want to do with your life? I expect you to move forward and move on, right? You want to pass that spirit on. So thanks
Absolutely.
for answering, everybody.
Yes. Thank you so much, Erica. That was absolutely phenomenal.